So everybody, we are back at the gameplay. So what I didn't do was check these doors. It's one of these doors here that this one that I didn't check last time.
This key was left inadvertently. Indeed, there is nothing terribly precious inside. But what a stench!
Let's go upstairs to check and see what's up here in the rooms.
Oh, no. But what a... how dreadful! This bag contains butcher's equipment. My word! These are innards. Kebabs, the same as Hardiman's. So he prepares his meat here.
Yep. So we learned that the killer has been in this place. And, uh-oh, what's this?
I found it!
Anything else on the floor or no? Okay. I think that's it, guys. He is to our... There he is. So we got everything that we need to have. So let's give him... Whoops. I guess he's gonna do it himself. I don't know. We'll see.
Have you found everything I need to remake the key?
Yep.
There you go. I think you'll manage with all of this. I'm sure I will, sir. It won't take me long.
Aww.
Say, I think there's some of your business upstairs. Oh, you're right. I ain't had the time to sort it out. Sometimes I'm in such a hurry to prepare my meat that I forget to clean up. But why do it in the stairwell? Offal bleeds bucket loads, they do, as you've seen. Now, why would I do that in my own lodgings? Ah, of course. But what about your poor neighbours? They owe it to me, all the times I've helped them out. And I don't have a shop either.
Aww.
Say, you sell animal meat, isn't that right? Would you know where I could find a dozen small pig's heads? The guy who gets me my offal should have some. I'll pay your day's wages if you meet me at Fletcher's butcher shop in 2 hours with the pig's heads. Here's a little advance. I'll do my best, Doctor.
Okay, so the building?
The caretaker of another building told us that the place where your mother lives has a reputation for facilitating prostitutes' activities. Is that true? Sure, the doors are never closed. They come through here like it's Paddington Station. By the way, I heard about your loss. My condolences. Ta, sir. I saw them die slow deaths. My little girl, her face was eaten by the disease.
Aww.
Thank you, my friend, and please forgive me for bringing up such painful memories. Go, I must do my rounds, and I will look for what you've asked for. As for me, I will go and find Holmes, and we will go to the butcher's together. Let's return to Fletcher's butcher shop.
Okay. We're going to Fletcher's butcher shop, and hopefully with the assistance of the guy that we just met.
Your heads are on the block inside. Say, you wouldn't be the same chap who bought my whole load the other day?
It's possible, but if you want to continue to do business together, you mustn't speak of my presence in the area to anyone.
Don't worry, my lord. I'll be as quiet as a church mouse.
A church mouse. That's clever. Alright, let's go into the butcher.
Holmes, will you explain the reason and rhyme behind this masquerade?
Elementary. We shall
Elementary.
conduct an experiment that will allow us to answer a simple question. Does the type of weapon used by the killer correspond to a specific profession?
Ooh, I can't stand that sound. Oh. You hear those
And
bugs?
here are our sow's heads.
It's all in my
Congratulations,
ears
Watson.
if I hear it.
You're welcome, Holmes, but what do you really want to do? Take up a collection?
Hey, let's see. Maybe we can look around or something.
There is nothing further to find in this room, Watson. However, I need some knives. Our only hope is behind this door.
Need some. Oh,
This wheel is broken and prevents the door from sliding.
alright. I think I know what to do. This knife actually finally came in handy for something.
This wheel is broken and prevents the door from sliding.
So we can't cut it that way? Oh. What the heck? Okay.
This wheel is broken and prevents the door from sliding. There, this door is slightly raised.
So now we can cut it. And then we switch it to with this one. Oh, the bugs, guys. Oh, the flies are really ridiculous.
Elementary.
Elementary.
While I prepare our experiment, could you find me 2 knives? A small one, somewhat larger than a pocket knife, with a large, sharp blade. We'll need it to separate the bones and to cut through the thick skins. Then find me a long knife that's at least 13 inches long, no shorter, that's sharp and has a thick blade.
Okay.
Fine, Holmes, but I'd like to tell you about Hardiman. Do you know that he prepares his kebabs himself, and...
That he owns butcher's tools and uses offal? That's obvious, Watson. Pray, take my magnifying
obvious,
glass
Watson.
and my rule and get started, Watson. Find me these 2 knives.
Okay. What's this? Alright.
Thanks to the magnifying glass, I can find a small knife that matches Holmes's description. Large size. Fragments of cartilage. Fragments of cartilage. Fragments of cartilage.
Large size.
Large size.
Fragments of cartilage. Alright, so now we have to just like...
With the rule, I must find a large knife.
Alright, so we just gotta like measure the size.
Size?
13 inches.
13 inches.
Okay, let's try this one. Let's try this one.
Size? 11 inches.
Alright.
Size? 7 inches. Size? 6 inches. Size? 7 inches.
Inventory. Let's go to items and let's go to... Okay, we keep that one. We're gonna... Pocket knife. Butcher's knife. Okay, we need this one. Well, how did we get? It might this. Do we have 3? I thought that was I thought that knife we had. Oh, okay.
Here are the knives you asked for. Be careful, they're awfully sharp. Holmes, I must
We're getting
say
some
that
more
this
guys.
experiment is making me rather uneasy. Comparing animal heads to these poor women.
You're right, Watson, but this somewhat shocking experiment may help to end this massacre and save other victims. You can be sure of that. Look, these pigs' heads are still bloody, which will suit our experiment perfectly. I have a pocket knife and a scalpel with me. With the 2 knives you just brought me, we have a similar array of weapons as those probably used by the killer. We saw 3 types of throat wounds on the deceased attributed to this man. Those intended to slit the throat, those intended to decapitate, and the more superficial yet mortal wound that led to the death of the unfortunate victim in Dutfield's yard, Miss Stride. With the help of these 4 knives, we are going to try to recreate these wounds on the pigs' heads and see what we can establish about the weapon or weapons used. We may also be able to rule out Miss Stride as a victim of the killer of the other 3.
Okay. Looks like we're gonna start cutting. Let's start with experiment 1.
Let's try to use these weapons on this head to obtain a large deep wound to the throat, like those that were noted on 3 of the 4 victims.
That one, let's try this one. Well, let's just try one at one time.
This little knife is very sharp and has a very wide blade. This pocket knife.
Okay.
This particularly sharp blade can make a deep gash with one quick slice.
So it can make a deep gash, so that means we can use that one with that.
Elementary.
Okay. Cool! I'm not entirely stupid. Okay. So,
That's it, Watson. The big knife.
the big knife.
With respect to the opinion of
Cool.
the medical examiners who noted that a butcher's knife with a long blade would have caused the eviscerations on some of the victims, we can assume, Watson, that he only used this type of weapon as it is capable of inflicting all of the wounds displayed.
Great.
Furthermore, the Dutfield's Yard murder remains attributable, for the moment, to the Whitechapel killer, if we are able to explain why the murderer used his knife in a different manner. Why not go there now? We will try to reenact the killer's actions that night. Our first objective will be to clarify, one way or another, the statements of Constable Smith, as well as this Hungarian by the name of Schwartz. We must also try to find out more about the International
Okay.
Working Men's Educational Club,
cool, huh?
underneath which the murder took place, perhaps
Guy
at the
from Ireland.
Wasp's Nest.
Yes, let's go to
It's a really nice place to
Dutfield's
visit.
Yard or wherever, but quickly. I am in urgent need of fresh air.
Me too,
Let's
Watson.
go to the Wasp's Nest.
I'm so with you, Watson. I'm definitely in urgent need of some freaking air. Gotta get the freak out of here. I'm tired of this. Ah, hey. All right, let's just teleport there. Well, actually, let's see, Wasp's Nest. Let's go to the bar.
Don't forget that Bluto may still be hiding here. I will try to find out more inside. You, Watson, must intercept the policeman on his rounds. Given the hour and a bit of luck, it will be Smith. Try to get some information from him.
Understood, Holmes.
All right, let's see. Who are we playing as? Okay, well, I think we're playing as a...
Hello.
I know you. You're Squibby's guardian angel. You weren't dressed the same last time, but I don't forget a face. No hard feelings, eh? Join me in a glass?
Your Jack the Ripper is on everyone's lips and written in all of the papers. You must be awfully proud of yourself. You have skill, that's for certain. It's a shame you use it to mask rather than discover the truth.
You better believe that I'm going to find out who it is. I got a hold of old Schwartz's interpreter. You know, the Hungarian who saw Liz Stride get it. Doesn't speak a word of English. And when he went round to the station, another Jew went along to interpret. I found that bloke, and he repeated everything that had been said at the station. It won't be long before I find these fellows.
Why do you say these fellows? Were there several of them?
Do you not read the papers, or what?
Oh,
Well,
what?
given the rubbish that you read sometimes. Let me explain. At 12:45 a.m., Schwartz goes down Burner Street towards Fairclough, on the side of the road where the Workers' Club is. A bit further from there, just near Dutfield Yard's wooden doors, a chap and a lady are arguing. The Star said that the bloke wanted to push the girl into Dutfield's Yard, but the translator told me that Schwartz saw him pulling her towards the road. She doesn't want to follow. He grabs her by the shoulders and throws her to the ground. She falls. Falls a bit, but not too loudly. Old Schwartz is scared, crosses to the other side, but continues in the same direction. The bloke with the girl notices him and yells, "Lipsky!"
Lipsky.
At the same time, another bloke at the corner of Fairclough and Burner who was lighting his pipe gets in on the action. He starts coming towards Schwartz in a menacing way, and Schwartz takes to his heels, doesn't see anything else. Once he finds out that a woman got herself killed, he went to testify and identified Long Liz Stride as the woman he saw getting thrown about. So there were definitely two blokes, mate. But why am I telling you all this?
In vino veritas.
All right, well, goodbye.
I'll take my leave then, Mr. Bulling.
That's right. Till next time.
Goodbye, Mr. Bulling. All right, so we just got finished talking to Mr. Billings.
A draft, my good man.
Here, sir.
Alright.
Tell me, was it not a mere stone's throw away from here that the Whitechapel killer struck last week?
That'd be Jack the Ripper, that's his name. Slit the throat of a working girl in a small courtyard over there behind them big wooden doors.
Below the Workers' Club?
The very spot, below Lipsky and Co. I wouldn't be surprised if Jack was one of them, if you catch my drift.
Ah, Lipsky.
Lipsky and Company. Do you mean to say that someone called Lipsky runs this club?
Nah, it's just that it's full of Jews. In Whitechapel, we call them all Lipskys, like that Lipsky who killed that girl in Batty Street last year.
Oh, really?
Last year, a Jew named Israel Lipsky killed a lass who was 6 months pregnant by making her drink acid. One trial and one protest by rabbis later, and he was hanging. By those who don't much like him, the Jews are called Lipskys.
Is the term Lipskys used to refer to the Jews in the area, and is this club frequented by Jews?
You got it. Socialist Jews even. They spend their evenings hollering, singing. I've seen them spitting on the bosses.
Okay. The victim.
And you know the victim?
No more her than any other. The working girls don't drum up business too much in this street. They need a reason to end up here.
Alright.
Very well. Goodbye.
Cheers.
Alright, so,
First and foremost, I must find P.C. Smith.
P.C. Smith? Who's that?
Good evening, Constable.
Good evening, sir.
I am Dr. Watson. Would you happen to be P.C. Smith, the man who patrols this beat?
That's me. And you work with the famous Sherlock Holmes, don't you? What can I do for you?
I believe you were on duty the night when the murder took place here. You would certainly be able to confirm a few details, such as the time of death that the medical examiner gave.
It's just that I wasn't there when the body was discovered. I don't think I can help you.
But I
Well,
was
that's
told
not
that you
that
had
much
seen the
information.
victim that very night.
Indeed. But it was before the murder. I saw her, not far from here. She was talking to a man. It was around 12:30 or 12:35 a.m.
What did this man look like?
I only saw him from behind, really. He was wearing a short black outfit, a small felt hat like a cap in a dark colour, and a white collar.
Interesting.
He seemed to be a respectable type. He was carrying a packet in his hand wrapped in newspaper, about 18 inches long and about 6 inches wide.
His outfit reminds me of someone that I know. Was he a large man, on the older side?
I don't think so, no. Even though I only saw him from behind, I would say that he was barely 30 years old, or even less. Say 28, or even less. 26 years old, and 5 foot 8 inches tall at the very most. He had a small dark brown moustache and an olive complexion, I would say, but once again, I only caught a brief glimpse of his face in three-quarter profile.
Oh. So basically, we're getting some type of like description of like the killer, or the person that was there at the murder. So I think that it's not. I don't really think it's gonna be Jack the Ripper. Well, it's not Jack the Ripper. I think it's because of the case is kind of. The game will be. I think the game's longer than just this. So I'm thinking it's probably someone else, because I think Jack the Ripper is much older, because he just described someone that was like 26, 5'8", like very young person. So and yeah, so let's just keep asking questions and see what we get. This is very interesting.
Nobody else saw this man?
I discussed this previously with Mr. Eagle, the president of the Workers' Club. That night he returned around 12:40 a.m. to the club. He used the passage through Dutfield's yard to get into the club because the main door was locked. He can attest that he didn't see anyone else in the passage at that time, but wasn't really paying attention to who else might have been in Burner Street itself.
Great.
He was listening to the song coming from the club. In short, no one else saw him.
Well, thank you for having satisfied my curiosity, my friend.
A fine evening to you, Doctor.
Alright, we're Holmes now.
Well, Watson, let's go to Dutfield's yard.
Dutfield's yard. Is that the place we went to, let's see. Dutfield's yard. Dutfield's yard. So if this place was...
Here's the Workers' Club, next to Dutfield's yard.
Really? Really, guys? We just went around in circles just to find a freaking...
On this poster is written, Club for Socialist Jews, the
Wow.
Cradle of Liberty. Interesting.
Yeah.
Dutfield's yard.
Wow. It was right next door. This looks creepy.
Your interrogation of P.C. Smith has proven to be very shrewd and of great interest. Thanks to the information I've managed to gather and that you were able to read in my notes in Baker Street, Watson, we can recreate what happened that fateful night at this location, Dutfield's Yards to be precise, the site of Liz Stride's murder.
One of these again? Not again. Oh, this is gonna be so annoying. Okay. So... let me think, guys.
Midnight, the Socialist Club meeting ends. The members, mainly Jewish men, gradually begin to leave the club in little groups or alone.
12:20, that sounds about right. So... wait a minute. 12:20, that means... okay, so that wouldn't be that. That would be something like 12:45. Right? Gotta get it precisely on the button.
12:30 to 12:35 a.m. Smith notices Liz Stride talking to the man with the package.
Package. Okay. So... Australian was president worker entered this club passage and... so on the timeline that would be like right there. Come on.
12:40 a.m. Eagle, the president of the club, enters the Workers' Club via the passageway through Dutfield's yard. He passed through Dutfield's yard. If Liz Stride had already been killed, he would have had to walk over her. The murder, therefore, had not yet happened.
Okay. And then 12:43 would be right there. Well...
12:43 a.m. Israel Swartz passes by Dutfield's yard and witnesses the attack on Liz Stride. 12:44 a.m. Schwartz crosses to the other side of the road. The attacker sees him and yells, Lipsky. The attacker must have shouted to his accomplice at the end of the road, the Lipsky, indicating at Schwartz using his head in an attempt to scare off this undesirable.
Lipsky.
12:45 a.m. Schwartz runs away, followed for a short distance by this man.
And
1 a.m. Mr. Diemschutz wants to enter with his cart, but the pony refuses. We know that the murder took place between 12:45 and 1 a.m. Mr. Diemschutz, therefore, must have disturbed the killer. Let's place Liz Stride's murder on the timeline, Watson.
okay, so that means she would have died between those times.
12:45 to 1 a.m. The murder of Liz Stride. It took place in this very spot, as the traces of blood were very confined. We will come back to this point in a few moments to elaborate on what could have happened. Well, we are still missing certain information in order to finish this investigation, Watson.
Alright, so back here, let's investigate
Watson,
the body.
imagine the victim laid down there on the ground.
So we're gonna go in imaginations.
Her right hand, it is bloody, as is her wrist.
Okay, so I see. It's like the same one that we had before, but we're just gonna get more information.
Her left hand, it is closed around a bag of pastils. Her left hand, it is closed around a bag of pastils. The throat, there is but one clean cut, slightly slanted downwards. The ground is muddy.
Anything else on her that we can like kind of find or?
The ground is muddy.
I guess that's it for now, I guess. Since, you know, there's nothing else. Alright, let's go to, not timeline, but the deduction. Alright. Okay, guys, the wound to the neck is clean. Started from this right and slightly. The ground is dirty, so there is only one wound proved to be mortal. Height, the blow was given to the middle of the neck. The victim had her hand cut. The victim was bleeding from the nose. Victim put her hand on her throat. The knife and the blade, the stem. The knife used to be was thin. So that's right. And this bullcrap's wrong. The blow was given. No, not the middle. So the wound in the neck, so that was probably right hand, and of course he was strong. Is the killer's a weak man? No, he's a strong man. That's funny. The murder blow from his height. Yep. Everything else seems to be pretty much right. Right? Our deductions. They're all right, right? Oh, no, we didn't. From above. Okay, there is only one wound and it's proven to be mortal. The murderer struck the blow from his height, struck the blow from above, from his height, I think. So the blow was given with the right hand. Blow was given with the right hand. The murder. So then the only so that would be, whoops. I thought it was proven immortal. Alright, so then... From a height, yeah. So that's alright. Right? I think that's it, guys. But maybe not. Maybe our assessments was still wrong. Time supposed to give anything else? No.
This spot is making me nauseous. Can we not head back, Holmes?
We certainly can't, Watson. We have one final point to address. Do you remember the piece of white apron that was missing just now? It was found just a few steps away from here, at the entrance of a building. That's where we must go. Let's go! There's the spot, Watson. By night, Goulston Street is deathly silent, which will permit us to carry out a fair few experiments. Let's find the entrance where the piece of the victim's apron and the mysterious chalk message were found. There's the spot where the apron and the message were found by PC Long. Now, let's recreate the scene. Remember, Watson, it was raining that night. Find me something with which to mimic raindrops hitting this wall while I write something with my chalk.
The Jews are not the men that will be blamed for nothing. But what does it mean?
Have you found something for us to pour water from, Watson?
Find a container and some water.
Darn it. Pretty sure we did. Hold on.
An old
Here it is.
wooden
Great.
come in handy. Who knows?
Oh. Okay. So that's that. And then we grab it. Okay, great. Yeah. Sweet. So now we find something to fill it up with, let's see what we have over here. Ah, there it is. There is, looks to be like water. Sweet. That was elementary. Elementary, guys.
Have you found something for us to pour water from, Watson?
Here it is.
Yes, I have, Holmes.
Control Holmes. Alright, so let's put the water on something.
If this message were written by the killer, then it would have been lying in this entrance for up to 35 minutes before being discovered. Let's find out in what state it must have been. This message could not have withstood an entire night in the rain. During the investigations carried out on the night of the double murder, PC Hulse inspected the entrances of this street around 2:20 a.m. and confirmed to have seen nothing out of the ordinary. At 2:55 a.m., 35 minutes later, PC Long found Catherine Edow's piece of apron and the message in chalk. This message would not have withstood a whole night in the rain, as had I continued to water it for a little longer, I would certainly have erased it. It was written, therefore, at the moment when the piece of apron was dumped. This substantiates PC Hulse's statement, which stated he had seen neither of these during his rounds. After its discovery, it was guarded and protected from the rain, which was subsiding, which explains why it was still legible when it was erased at 5:30. My dear Watson, when you met P.C. Smith on his rounds in the street, where was he? On the pavement or in the middle of the road?
In the middle of the road, Holmes, without a shadow of a doubt.
Good. You will go down the street with your lantern as if you were a policeman on patrol, using Smith's position as a guide. As soon as you see the entrance where I used the watering can, tell me if you see anything.
I have no reason to go that way. I have no reason to go that way. There, Holmes. From here, I can see something written.
Can you read it?
No.
Do you see the white rag, Watson?
I see something on the ground, but I'm not sure if it's what you were talking about.
P.C. Long, who found the piece of apron, was examining the interior of the entrances, and yet nobody would have predicted that this piece of material would be discovered on the very night of the murder by a policeman on patrol.
What are you trying to get at, Holmes?
Let's look at this message on the wall, Watson. The Jews are not the men who shall be blamed for nothing. In other words, the Jews were possibly blamed for nothing, but that will no longer be the case. Reading this message naturally begs one question. What would that be, Watson?
Why?
Indeed, Watson, why? For what reason would one have the right to blame the Jews in the future? Remember, Lestrade was killed near a club for socialist Jews, Edaus not far from a synagogue and the Imperial Club, and finally, this piece of apron dropped here. This building is occupied by Jewish families. The killer really did go out of his way to incriminate the Jews living in the area.
It's a bit obvious, Holmes.
Yes, but with the rumors, Watson, the author of this message would have received a response to his strategy.
You are right, Holmes. So perhaps it's a good thing this message was erased.
Whoever took the decision to do this is a man of great wisdom and courage. Let's return to Baker Street, Watson. I have some pipes to smoke to help me think more clearly.
Let's go back to Baker Street. Home, sweet home.